Anticipation and uncertainty. It's growing at our border ahead of the arrival of thousands of migrants, and now they will be greeted by this brand new wall. Good evening. I'm Steve Atkinson.
And I'm Lindsay Pena. We have team coverage on the escalation surrounding that caravan, beginning with 10 News reporter Jennifer De La Cruz on what's been a busy day of construction at San Ysidro.
A big difference in what the wall looks like now compared to just a couple months ago. So construction crews are out here working to replace this is the old wall, and what sits behind it, the new wall that they've been working on putting in. It's significantly taller. You can see through it, and it has anti-climbing properties. So an entirely different story from what sat here for several years. A Border Patrol spokesman says it's not related to the caravan, though. This is all part of a construction project that started back in June. The government replacing 14 miles of the scrap metal wall. Construction started about half a mile from the ocean east to the bottom of Otay Mountain. The old wall is about 10 feet high. The new one, though, stands between 18 to 30 feet tall. You can see right through it, giving border agents a better look at what's happening on the other side. It also has an anti-climbing plate at the top of it. The old wall was originally put in back in the 90s. Border Patrol agents say this new wall is an important milestone on their work to secure the border. I spoke with a military veteran here today who says this construction is probably causing confusion for people in that migrant caravan.
I'm all for them wanting to better themselves, but there's a proper way to go about doing it. And coming in here and trying to cross an unfinished wall, again, I think it's creating a problem for people on both sides of that fence.
Now, the whole project costs about $147 million. Once again, it started in June. They're working on this section for now in San Ysidro. They still have a little bit of work to do here before they move on to the next part of the wall. Reporting live, Jennifer De La Cruz, 10 News.
As many as 4,000 Central American migrants could arrive in Tijuana, Mexico today, which is just across the U.S. border from California. The first wave of several hundred arrived earlier this week. A few have jumped the barricade, including a woman carrying a baby, but any attempt to cross ends with certain capture.
I'd like you to think of border security just the same as your home, and when someone comes to your home, they're supposed to go to the front door and present themselves.
In preparation for the migrants, the border is being hardened on both sides. The U.S. and Mexican militaries placed barricades, barbed wire, and closed at least 3 lanes at the Tijuana crossing, which backed up traffic at the busiest land border crossing in the Western Hemisphere.
First, our top story. Hundreds of migrants from the Central America Caravan are arriving at the U.S. border. This is video from Tijuana, Mexico yesterday. Tonight, the migrants are filling up shelters as they figure out their next move.
Meanwhile, a San Antonio pastor who spent 5 days traveling with that group is back home tonight.
Eyewitness News reporter Addie Guajardo sat down with him to talk about the migrants' mission for a better life.
So right now we are on top of the semis and we took a break and they're passing out water.
It's a trip Pastor Gavin Rogers says he needed to experience to understand the stories behind the faces of migrants enduring harsh conditions for weeks on foot and cramped in trucks to reach the U.S.
People are escaping extreme tragedy, extreme situations that are haunting to hear. Teenagers who have been raped, family members have been murdered or kidnapped. Let's take a look.
He documented every moment, even shared stories with Ken's 5 via Skype of migrants like Brian Mauricio, who made the painful decision to make the journey alone.
Mi familia, mis hermanos, todos ellos. No sé, que los amo, que siempre voy a estar ahí para ellos.
Mi bebé tiene 3 años y lo dejé con mi mami.
They say they're escaping the grim reality of their homeland.
Me amenazaron de muerte y amenazaron a mi familia y tengo miedo.
Corrupción, maras.
Mucha violencia ahí, falta de trabajo.
Agarren agua pues acá,
Dismay fueling their mission, some guided by God's words, seeking hope despite their fear.
Due to the number of people coming this way,
que todos los que vienen aquí no son criminales, son obreros, trabajadores, con ganas de trabajar. No queremos dañar a nadie, vamos en paz. Queremos estudiar también.
Primeramente Dios, trabajar y luchar por él.
With hundreds of miles until Mauricio reaches Tijuana, he wants to share one message.
Dios quiera que sí, porque hemos sufrido mucho.
Stories that moved Pastor Rogers and he hopes will spark compassion in a divided country.
You could experience and get to know the people who are walking this caravan. It would completely change your heart and most likely your mind.
Addie Guajardo, KENS 5 Eyewitness News.
All right, we've been warning you now for weeks. Thousands upon thousands of undocumented migrants, they have been marching towards America, our southern border. Now, the vast majority of these people, I have been saying, I believe, are coming here in search of a better life, more opportunity, the land of opportunity and freedom. But here's the problem. These individuals, they have not been vetted, no background checks, no criminal history checks, no proof of employment, no family ties to the U.S., no comprehension in some cases of what the laws of America are, no case for asylum, many have no paperwork whatsoever, but they're demanding entry into the United States. And tonight, the first migrants have now reached our southern border, a group of around 80 migrants that split off from the much larger group. They claimed widespread harassment, mistreatment at the hands of their fellow migrants, and they were able to fast-track their journey north in vans to the United States. And according to the AP tonight, while another group of several hundred migrants will arrive in the next few days. Now, some have tried to scale a U.S. border fence. Look at these videos right near Tijuana. Others crawled through openings in that fence, forced to crawl back because U.S. Border Patrol agents responded and they were about to enforce the law. That is not a good first impression. This is just a small part of how many people are actually coming and a clear warning of a looming crisis. And according to reports from Mexican officials, as many as 10,000 migrants are just days away. The Department of Homeland Security is warning, and they have put out statements that over 270 suspected criminals, gang members, drug traffickers have been blending in with what is a mostly male caravan. We've also learned that some illegal immigrants previously deported from the U.S., they're also attached to the group. Now 7,000 active duty U.S. soldiers, they have been deployed to help secure the southern border. Now, they have been laying razor wire and constructing other barriers to prevent illegal immigration, protecting our sovereignty, our rule of law. We are a constitutional republic. It's important to remember, weeks ago, we witnessed the breaking down of that fence, as you can see, in southern Mexico on their border, crashing the gates into that country. This is a serious situation, an important reminder about why strong borders, the rule of law, and yes, the wall are so important. Now, if the president's plan had been implemented so far for a massive border wall, that had been completed with a big door in it, as he has said, the situation would be mitigated. It would be controlled. As a matter of fact, it would not even be a possibility of some type of confrontation at our border. God forbid. America needs immigrants, but we have to vet anyone, everyone coming into this country. We have to do everything in our power to prevent criminals, other bad people, even if they're mixing in with good people, from entering this country. And this is the very reason even Democrats just a few short years ago supported the enforcement of our border laws and our border. Remember this.
I voted numerous times when I was a senator to spend money to build a barrier to try to prevent illegal immigrants from coming in. And I do think you have to control your borders.
People who enter the United States without our permission are illegal aliens, and illegal aliens should not be treated the same as people who entered the U.S. legally. The American people will never accept immigration reform unless they truly believe that their government is committed to ending future illegal immigration.
Those who enter our country illegally and those who employ them disrespect the rule of law. And because we live in an age where terrorists are challenging our borders, we cannot allow people to pour into the U.S. undetected, undocumented, and unchecked.
Oh, of course, now they're singing a much different tune. They sounded like Donald Trump. The party has moved so far radical left that virtually no Democrat supports border enforcement. And now with the caravan marching north, the left is doing anything and everything to play this situation down. It could get serious. Imagine for a second, thousands of people, not just 80, at the border. What happens then? Take a look.
When we're sending 15,000 troops to the border for a political stunt, that's a warning sign.
There is no doubt that what the president was considering great strategy to bring out his base, with, this stupid caravan conspiracy theory, which he hasn't talked about since Election Day.
We see what he's doing with our troops at the border, essentially using them as props.
It seems that we've gotten the all clear, the emergency is over, and the solution to the caravan invasion all along, it wasn't the troops, it wasn't walls, it was apparently just getting past the midterm elections.
And I just remember when I would look up every single night, every single show, the caravan is coming and there's people are coming and they're going to take your jobs and they're going to be doing all this, and it's like, and now you don't hear anything. And those people, they bought it hook, line, and sinker. People bought it. Oh my gosh, we should be putting a barbed wire. Don't you want to be ready?
Some people did.
Oh my gosh.
Some people.
Now, unlike CNN, MSNBC, their cohorts in the Democratic Party, we are going to continue to track what is a very serious situation.